Hello, everybody. Happy middle of July. It is the 14th as I'm filming this today. I hope I hope you're managing through what seems like, and I don't know, it'd be interesting to hear from some of you, but July has been very interesting. I would say since the solstice. And we talked a little bit about that, how things were going to shift and change in the sense because of the solstice. I don't remember my channeling for July, but oh my gosh, I'm telling you, on either side of the solstice, and then having moved into these new, I'll just call it cosmic alignments, and with our sun doing what it's doing, but these new alignments, there's some really powerful ones that are happening. There's the one that's standing out to me, and remember, I'm not an astrologist, so it's interesting that this stands out, is the Uranus and Gemini transit. Or alignment, I should say. Again, I won't use the right terms because I'm not an astrologist. But anyway, there's a lot going on realigning things, and it's really shaking up. Oh, they just said our patterning of our cells. Oh, God, no wonder. That's why I feel the way I feel. They're talking about the patterning of our cells, and it's because there's a lot colliding. And of course, we know if you keep track of this, the Schumann resonance is just wild as well. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well through all this. One thing I have noticed is I'll have a couple of days where I'm like, man, this feels good. I'm in this new place. And then all of a sudden that kind of all gets blown apart. So it's this very, I think we also talked about this in a video, erratic kind of feeling. I don't know if, I guess I would be surprised if any of you felt totally stable and amazing all the time, right? So anyway, today though, what we're going to do is let you take a look at, or I should say, listen to, and a look at Ron and myself having another conversation. So as many of you know, you've listened to Ron's conversations with me previously, and he channels through one of his main guides, Sam, and essentially has these very long conversations, which still to this day I don't know how he remembers the channeling that he does. But in the sessions with me, he's able to regurgitate those and have this conversation. And he's also, what I've told him previously is, as he feels it meant to get some of this information out for our consideration. Again, I will always say for our consideration. Again, take what resonates, toss the rest aside. It's just more food for thought, things to think about. Hopefully taking a nugget away or two that's going to help you on your journey forward, or open up our minds, or consider other perspectives. So anyway, Ron, what we talked about was, well, you're welcome to share it on my channel if you'd like. So whenever he and I get together, we have a tendency to feel like this might be a good one for you guys to listen to, and this is one of those. So the topic, I'll just be real simplistic about it because we cover a lot of angles on this, is love. The topic of love, kind of in all its forms, but he's got some very interesting information that's come through, and I think you'll enjoy this conversation. I have, as far as upcoming videos, I just want you to know I also spoke with Jennifer again. You will remember Jennifer from a few years ago. We have just not had the chance to connect much lately, but there's one I'll be editing for that. It just takes a while for me to get those videos done once we've actually recorded them. And then I have a few things that the Lightkeepers have brought into me that they want to either inform you on or remind you of, and kind of some short quips about things that they have made pointed to me. I actually have three things that I'll probably put into a video. So we got some upcoming content coming up, and I hope you enjoy these conversations that I have with others on occasion. And so what I'm going to do is just shoot you right over to Ron. I'll wrap up with you at the end. And for those of you who are new to this channel, first of all, I welcome you, and I welcome everybody here every single time, and I appreciate those of you who have always been here. But for those of you who are new, I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I offer channeling, spiritual awakening, mentoring, energy healing, past life readings, and soul journeys. So with that, I am going to send you over. You can check me out at purplerainhealing.com, as I would love to work with you. All right, I'm going to send you over to our conversation. I will quickly wrap up with you in the end. Enjoy.
I've been on this quest, so it's been months, right? Months. And it's it's funny because when I talk to people about this, they're like, wow, man, you're just poo-pooing on life and blah blah. I'm like, no, 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 you don't understand. So we use this term love. We've talked about it before.
Yes.
We don't know how to define it. You don't even know what it means.
Right.
You don't
Right.
even know what it is.
No.
right?
And of course, what we've done as humans is we turned it into this weird, like, it's just not what it's meant to be.
Right, right.
Especially
And that,
because, especially because what we've done, and I got to tell you, for a long part of my life, it was like love. I mean, yes, I loved my mom and dad and sister and
mhm,
all that, but I never thought about like that. It's always been turned into like a romantic love, like love,
right,
love.
right.
But
Well,
no,
even if you think about your mom and your dad, right? So why do you love them?
yeah,
What does
right.
that mean?
No,
What
right.
is that?
Exactly.
Right? What is that?
Yep.
And I've been on this, and I've been on this, and so there's several things going on
Hmm.
all at once, right? And I've gotten to the point now where I can separate them, but I don't compartmentalize them.
Hmm.
So I can kind of see them all happening. And I'm just looking for the patterns. That's all I'm looking for. Just patterns. That's all I want to see, just the patterns, right? But I can watch them all moving and watch them all playing. So I've noticed this uptick. I've been going on this love thing, and I'm like, okay, so we have all of these channels, and I'm not down on anybody. I'm not,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not any of that stuff. But we have all of this. So to me, right? So to me, having a military background, having served, whatever,
Hmm.
there are things in my biological signal unit. That's funny because my oversoul renamed it, but it's the
I was just
biological
going to say
signal
because
unit, which actually makes sense.
used to say service.
Yeah, well, my oversoul is like, you need to understand what it is. It's a signal unit,
I love that.
not a service unit.
That's so
You're almost
true.
right, but you're inputting and outputting signals. And I was like, oh geez, yeah, that makes total sense. You know what I mean? Like, so now it's the signal unit. We're good with that. But
Let
I'm
me let
I'm
me
going
add
down.
let me just add
Yeah.
something. So think about that. A signal unit attracts others. Think about
Mhm.
depending on the signal, right? And you know that from the military, you're signaling something to come to you or to connect with. Isn't that fascinating? What signal are
Or
you sending out?
to go away
Yeah,
from you.
totally. Totally.
This is important, right?
Yeah.
And see, all of this builds. It's funny because as we're saying that that's not a nuanced thing. It builds into this thing that happened, right? So I'm asking, I'm like deep into this. Like the love thing has just got me because I'm hearing all you have to do is act in love. Just love one another. I'm like, well, what is that?
Yes.
Tell me. So here you are, and again, I'm not down on anybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here you are using a weasel word, the number one weasel word in this realm. It's a word that means nothing, but demands action towards something. What? Whatever you define it as.
Yeah.
Now, understand I'm summarizing a lot, but so I got there. And I'm having this conversation. I'm having this conversation. I'm going to say with the team, but now I'm just going to say my oversoul because you'll understand in a minute. And I'm like, what does that mean? So, you read the poems, men and women both, using 1,000 words to try to define something,
Mhm.
try to express something. So the first place we go is into the DNA. So I'm meditating and I'm having this. It was the most bizarre thing because there's this just phenomenal splash of colors. It looks like one of those things, that the kids do where they have the colored powder and they're in
Yeah.
a concert or something and they're blowing up
Yeah.
the balloons and the colored powder's going everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like,
Yeah.
except it looks like liquid fingernail polish and
Oh,
it's just everywhere, right? And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, that's so cool.
That's so cool.
And then I see this DNA strand, but I only see the two halves, right? So in the meditation, you have energy is logic. It has a law that it follows.
Yeah,
It
right.
does not deviate from that law.
Good point.
And when I say law, I don't mean legal system, but I
No,
mean
no, no.
a way that it behaves. It's
Yep,
just the law of energy,
yep.
opposites, attract, repel, whatever. So all of this stuff, and I'm like, that's cool, that's cool. Then it shows over here, right? And it shows emotion. And at this point, like it was already ringing off in my head, but then it showed logic and emotion bind together. What do those two do? And I was like, wow, this is Mr. Spock. Okay, cool. Literally, I went to the Star Trek analogy, but in the vision, in the whatever it was, when it comes together, right? Boom, you've got all of those colors, all of that explosion of energy, and all this. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess that's about what it feels like. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. You lose logic and you get stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, and then the question comes, well, have you ever been in love? You already understand that's a dead end question because I don't know what love is.
Right. Well,
And so
back
that's what
to
I
my
told
but let's
them.
add this in. Back to my point, that romantic love thing that I just said, that's
Uh-huh.
the only thing we can relate to, and we still don't even quite get. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like that
Yep.
constructed love.
Yep. No, no, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And this has been I have gone back and forth with the team so many times. And I'm like, I cannot move forward until I understand this. So it comes down to this thing, right? And take it into a religious context, spiritual context, esoteric context, whatever you want to do, right?
Mhm.
Source, creator, whoever you want to call it, God, Jesus, Buddha, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to say, loves you. So what does that mean? Right? What does that mean?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Then it was love the Lord your God, love yourself. Going to a biblical context, because that's the framework that I have.
Sure.
Love yourself. What does that mean? I don't even know. That's the problem. I don't even know what that means, right?
Hmm.
This is where the whole I it seems like, let me put that in there. It seems like the whole map of the deception unfolded in front of me.
Ooh.
And I was I was dumbstruck, right? So we're sitting here and we're talking about it. And this is the funny thing. And this even makes things more crisp for me. What is love? What are you? You are energy. Energy is logic. Energy follows laws.
Yes.
Okay, cool. What is an emotion? An emotion is a
It's energy and
feeling.
motion. Energy and motion.
So, sort of, sort of, right? I'm with you. I'm kind of going down that road,
Hmm.
and I've got this mental construct, if you will, of what I think that is. So
Yes.
I'm going down that road.
Yes.
And then just then it's like, okay, so if that's true, not what you said, but what my own mental discombobulation was, if that's true, what do we know about energy? What is energy? Well, frequency and vibration, right? That's energy.
Mhm.
Okay. What does energy do? Now, this is just one section. I want you to think we talk about soul families, we talk about uh, twin flames, we talk about soulmates, we talk about all these things, and we're trying to contextualize
Yes.
something, right? We're trying to, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get a feel
Well,
for
trying
it,
to define, you know?
right? So I don't want to say mistake number one, but deception number one, right? You're working from the wrong side. Feelings come from energy.
Yes.
Ah, energy doesn't come from feelings.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm
But
good. I'm like,
but wait a minute. Okay, say that again. So energy, feelings come from energy.
feelings come from energy.
Yes.
What did you say? Feelings are energy in motion.
So let me just give you an example, and I want to make sure we
Yep,
get this, we're on the
yep,
same
yep,
page.
yep,
So if
yep, yep.
somebody says something to you that triggers you, and you
Yes,
get a feeling or an emotion, that energy they put out is what's causing your emotion.
yes,
Yes. Okay, good.
exactly, exactly, right? But, or however, we're taught feelings.
Right.
That's the whole manipulation. Now, I could go down to conspiracy theories or whatever, but that's the whole that's the whole manipulation of the collective. You feel. Stop. Stop. Go back over to the energy side.
Yes.
Now, what happens? I'm going to kind of cut to the chase here because there's so much to unpack here, and we got just a little bit of time. But over here, what happens? So, a frequency will do one of two things. It will harmonize with another frequency, or it will not. It will be dissonant,
Mhm.
right? So resonance, dissonance. But the key word here is constructive, destructive. Keep them two words in your mind the whole way through this now. So when I come in, or you, all right. So let's look at this real quick. You walk into the grocery store and you get in a line to pay, and there's somebody in front of you, and it could be a guy or a girl, doesn't matter what. But all of a sudden, you have that feeling, ooh, there's some chemistry here. There, whatever's going on.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's that initial, but you understand, you have a vibration or you have energy creating an emotion,
Mhm.
but you don't know how to say, I'm having an energetic alignment with the person in front of me,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that's resonance.
Oh God, I just was gonna say it's resonance frequency. I just like poof, that just
Now,
came into my mind.
stick with me because this is so important, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going, okay, that makes sense. And then you get around and you immediately go, nope, not going there,
Right.
right? That's the destructive frequency or the dissonant frequency, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter one way or the other. Those are the laws. Period. End of story. Those are the laws.
Hmm.
They do not change.
Hmm.
Not in this realm. They do not change. They do not alter themselves. That is the law.
Hmm.
That's what you get. That's what you get to work with. But see, we're not taught that part.
No.
However, now think about this. We're going to blow this all up now. So think about a guitar player or a piano player, whoever plays a stringed instrument, right? But I say guitar because I'm a guitar player. So I've got six strings, and on each string, there's frets, right? And then I can push that string down depending on where I'm at, and I can make a note, whatever that note is, E, F, G, A, B, C, and I can play it. Now, I can take another string. Wait, I got to back up and fill you in. So you are the note that's being played. There's a fretboard there. Depending on the guitar, it could be 12, it could be 18. It doesn't matter. But as you move up and down the fretboard, it changes the note, right? I want you to think about that. Let's just say way up here, let's say at the 12th fret, you're at the high octave. So you're at a C, you're at the high C. You've gone the octave above the C. Cool, you're vibrating very high. It's very crisp. It rings really loud. But then I can drop down and do the C, right? And you get the very low note. So just think about that. Here's your continuum then. And you get to move up and down the fretboard depending on what's going on. All right. Now, I can be playing that C note. I can go down here and I can hit another one of the strings and play a dissonant note with it, right? Destructive frequency doesn't sound good together. It's not resonant. Cool. Or I can go down and pick another note and play it in unison. A minor is a good example. They resonate together. However, they're a different string, two different individuations of source.
Hmm.
And where I play them, where they come together, they make this nice sound called an A minor 2. This is the part that blew me away. That would be a husband and a wife, or a mating sequence, put it like that, a mating sequence. However, there's two types of things there. You have the continuous note and you have a transient note. So the person that you're standing to in front of the line, or standing to in the line, standing with in the line, you could be the stationary note. But if you think about it, you've seen guitar players do it where they strike the note up here and then they slide their finger
Yes.
up the string and it'll go like that. Not like that, but something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, well, there's one moment in time where it goes and then it harmonizes with the stationary note you're holding.
Oh, whereas it's going down the
Up or down,
up
either
or
way.
down.
But you have a moment in time where those two sound really good together.
Oh,
And we call that love.
oh, that's a great analogy.
Oh, so you have to understand, are you a stationary note or are you a transient note? This is why you get married and then you get divorced.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because you are moving through something, and for a short season, those two harmonize really well together. And when two frequencies come together and resonate, they create an output that's greater than the two individuals
Yes. Yes.
together, right?
Okay. Yep.
And for that little season, you're in love.
Right.
We call it puppy love, right? We all recognize puppy love in the young kids. We're
Yeah.
doing the same thing. Whereas if I take the two notes that comprise an A minor, those are stationary notes, and I keep playing that that A minor chord, right? They continue to resonate together. They sound real good. And we've seen them, people that have been married 60, 70, 80 years, whatever, and they're just harmonizing along,
Right.
right? My grandparents
Yeah.
were one of these people. And when my grandmother died, my grandfather died directly right thereafter.
There you go.
He was healthy, as far as everybody knew, he was healthy, whatever. He just got up one morning, had a heart attack while he was
Yep.
shaving,
Like
like
that's
a
time.
week
Yep.
after she died, right after we had the funeral.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So those two chords, when taken apart, they don't resonate anymore, right? So there's the frequency. Now, I can add a third string, and I can go and let's just say I make a D chord. Now I've got three strings together, and the D is harmonizing very, very well. That's the couple with a child or a family. So when they're all resonating together, we've all seen those families, there's 55 kids
Mhm.
and they all live on the same street and they're all, you know what I'm saying, and they're all
Yes.
together, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's that resonant frequency, but all of them to come together now and are amplifying this humongous energy
Hmm.
that none of them can resonate by
Separately.
themselves or
Yeah.
even separately or together, right? Oh, I'm going to stop right there for a second. Now think about it. You've been around that couple who have been married for 100 years and you just feel it. You
Right.
you can't help but feel it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The feeling, it's the law. They come together and they resonate, and what they produce together is greater than the sum of the two of them apart. And you feel it. That's love. It's the coherence of the frequencies over time, right? Now, keep in mind the little thing that you got going on in the grocery line, that's not any different, but you understand it's only temporal.
It's not the A. There's the stable frequent
Yeah,
chord
exactly.
or
And
whatever.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stable's probably a bad word, but it's
But
not
it's
that
a
thing
good way
that's
to think of it.
consistent. Yeah, it's
There you
not that
go.
thing that's consistent.
Yes.
But because you've been taught about the feelings and not been taught to think about in vibration, energy, or frequency, you go, oh, that's love because it feels good.
Oh my God. This is so good.
Being in coherence, in resonance with another person feels phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now I'm going to sound batshit crazy.
No, because
And it's okay.
I'm thinking of a couple other examples I want to toss
Oh, yeah. Well,
across to you before we
hang on,
finish.
because
So
there's
keep
where we
going.
go now.
Keep going.
All right. So I'm watching those. Now, let's just say you're playing a chord progression. I just got to throw this in real quick for free. You're playing a chord progression. So you go from E minor to D, and now you're going to go to G. Each chord now is a build out of the original family. Sons and daughters, grandsons and daughters, great grandsons and daughters, lineage back to the DNA. How is it being encoded in your DNA? The tone, right? But it's all the frequency, it's the law. The feeling tells you if it's the correct frequency or not. And what I mean by that is not that anything's wrong. It's just that when you get in, and here's where this next one comes into, you get into your soul group, you feel it. You're with your people. That's how we would say it. We're with our people. It's because that's where you belong. That's where you naturally vibrate and resonate and amplify. That's love.
Now, let me ask you this.
Mind blowing. Yeah, go
That
ahead.
makes sense. So, okay. So what you just said does it depends. Okay. So, how do I say this?
Spit it out.
Well, I got to figure out
The
how to
best way,
say
just
it.
spit it out.
So depending though on where you're at, because as we know, we travel in frequency, we shift and change.
Yep,
Depending where you're at on
yep.
frequency, you're gonna attract a certain kind of love frequency, which
Hmm.
can either
Absolutely.
elevate you or not. I mean, so you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
if you're
right.
resonating, but you can also shift out of that as you start growing in this journey, this self-discovery journey, right? And you then
Yes.
reaching a new vibration or frequency, which will then attract, which is a different kind of higher vibration kind of love. If we try to use your reference points,
Yep. So
music,
keep
notes,
in mind, keep in mind, this is so important. Oh my gosh, there's so many things that were revealed to me. You're correct. However, you're limiting yourself, right? And this is part of the conditioning. I can play a chord progression, three chords, let's just say three chords, and I can go from a lower chord, say the first, to the third, I'm sorry, to the fourth, to the fifth. But I can also go back down to the first, and they still all resonate. This is what's important to understand. When we came into this environment,
yes,
got to remember, oh my gosh, this is so when we came into this environment, so this is where the oversoul comes into play now. The oversoul, you come from the oversoul and you come into this environment. And you get you get the whole forgetting thing. You go through that whole thing, that whole, okay, what are you here to do? And we've said a lot of things, right? We're here to have an experience. We're here to learn. We're here to reconcile, trauma. We're like all these things, all of not denying any of that. All of that is absolutely true, but it's not the thing. The thing is to come into alignment, cohesion, and resonance with your oversoul.
yes, okay, yes.
No, 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 hold on. I know you're thinking that very intellectually, like I was doing.
Kind of not,
No, no,
kind
no,
of.
because now your oversoul and you in here are now one.
Yes. You can start to feel that though in this journey. You can start to feel that you're embodying more of that.
Yes, yes, yes. But you and your oversoul are one. Your oversoul isn't over there.
No.
Your oversoul isn't out there.
Hmm.
Your oversoul and you are one harmonic resonance
Hmm.
bringing in here.
Yes.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, you got this oversoul thing. That's cool. So I'm going, okay, that's cool. All right, I'm good with that. And then my mind went out to source. Well, wait a minute. The oversoul is an individuation of source. We are source
Hmm.
that stepped into a very, very limited biological signal unit. Why are you here?
Hmm.
Why did you choose to do that? This next piece is really, really important to understand because you have to understand who you are. So, in the law of frequency and vibration, there's this thing that's referred to as the dominant frequency.
Yes.
In the dominant frequency, like if I set up 50 tuning forks, right, and I rung one, within a very small amount of time, they'd all be ringing and they'd all be uniform in their cycles, right? Literally be ringing in resonance, right? And the dominant frequency would be the one that entrained all of those other
Yes.
four, right? Okay. Where are we? We're in the realm of duality.
Hmm.
For everything, and I'm going to use two terms here, but let's remember there is no negative and there is no positive.
Right.
All there is phase alignment.
Mhm.
So for everything that happens positive, the exact same thing happens negative. It is the law. There is no eradicating evil. There is no putting down
Because there
wrongdoing.
has to be a balance, so you have to have both. So it's balance. It's
You
you're saying
have to have both,
it balances it out.
right? The only thing that makes it out of phase is your belief
I was
about it.
just gonna say, it's the human. It's the
Yes,
human.
it's what we project into the field that
Yeah.
is being mirrored back to us.
Which is why it's important for us to learn how to just be. And
Exactly.
because
So this,
if
oh my
we're in,
gosh, this is
because
this is it.
if we're inserting into the what you just said, the field, we're
Yeah.
adding a third energy into what is what the law is or whatever, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, you're so close. You're so close. Oh my gosh. So you're right. So here's the thing. Oh my gosh. You and Jennifer had a conversation. I know it seems like it's a couple years ago now. And
Probably.
you guys were talking and doing your thing and whatever. And I don't know which one of you said, well, where did the source come from?
Hmm.
But Jennifer said,
Probably me.
oh, I can see it. There's this thing, amorphous thing going on back here, and then there's source, and I thought, that's really bizarre. I'm just going to park that over here on the shelf because that has significance somewhere.
Hmm.
So now I'm coming here and I'm going, okay, we've got all of this energy thing going on and it's producing feelings. So when we have the feelings, as you said, energy and motion, it's projected into this field. What's the field? The field is literally what we've created.
Hmm.
Hold on. You're saying that and you're going, but here's the realm. Whatever you fear, you've projected into the field.
Sure.
Whatever you love, you've projected into the field. But everything that you love is a perversion because you don't understand love.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, yeah.
So
And so when I was speaking,
everything, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
was going to say when I was speaking to you originally about how we, I was kind of giving it the human face, how we don't understand
Yeah,
love and it's romanticized and blah blah blah. We don't understand the energy component. That's what you're talking about.
exactly. So what happens now, this is so important, right? You are the dominant frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can take that away from you. They can only make you believe differently. We don't teach our kids. We
No,
don't even talk about it in science anymore. What is energy, vibration, and frequency,
I'm sure we
right?
don't.
So think about this now. And this right here, when the reality of this has landed on me so hard. Everything you believe, everything you believe, you've been told to believe. Oh, no, think about it. Everything. Even me now sitting here sharing this
Yeah,
with you,
you've been given information.
I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
something. You either consent to it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you get it? I told you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand love, but you're telling people what love is. You don't understand hate, but you're telling people to hate. Think about this. Who's your enemy? Whatever somebody has told you is your enemy.
Yeah, yeah. And build that
You
fear up to create that vibration.
you are the dominant frequency, right? Everything is the destructive frequency. It is non-resonant,
Mm-hmm.
but everything you're creating is a perversion. It's non-resonant,
Mm-hmm.
and you're putting it into the field. This is where this all really comes in home, right?
But this is
Think
why
about,
this journey we're going through is a purifying that.
oh yeah, no, absolutely. And
Yeah,
and everybody's gonna walk through this different.
yeah,
Everybody's gonna accept this different, right? And it all depends on how you've been programmed, right? And
yes.
and that's so key. Somebody from the Far East, Middle East, the US, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to have you've been told who you are, what you are, why you are,
Yep.
and we've consented to it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the dominant frequency is ringing inside of us, and it creates this dissonance. Leo Festinger in 1957 wrote a paper called Cognitive Dissonance. The man had no idea what he was touching because there is a beat frequency happening inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
We all have it. We know this. Like this is like wake up 100 right here, right? But there's a beat frequency inside of us, and it's telling you, you are the dominant frequency. You are the dominant frequency. What you think about, what you accept, what you consent, what you do, the actions that you take, you're projecting that all into the field, and the field's going to mirror that back to you because it's going to give you the experience that you want. But the field doesn't know that you want that or not. It's just reflecting what you're giving it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's great. Now I tell you, be afraid of the yellow man, be afraid of the red man, be afraid of the black man, be afraid of the white man, be afraid of the woman, be afraid of the homosexual,
Yes.
be afraid of that, right? And just keep going to, what have I done? Right? I've given you words that you can now define your enemy with.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to think about it. Oh, that right there, like when we were growing up, there was all these ethnic stereotypes that were going around,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, that's that or that. And in your mind, you automatically, what do? You associate what you see, right? A Hispanic person, let's just pick a Hispanic person. Seems to be a hot topic right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're your enemy. No, they're not.
Right.
No, they're not.
Right.
Wait, what just happened? What just happened in the last election?
Mhm.
You were told who your enemy was,
Exactly.
which means you're looking over there. You're not looking at who's telling you who your
Right.
enemy is.
Right. Right.
Oh my gosh, the deception
And you're not realizing
unfolds.
you're being programmed, which seems kind of like
Exactly.
nearsighted,
Because
but
from everything you've been told,
yeah,
everything you've been told, you've created.
yeah.
Hmm. So we could go down it the other way, right? Um, you have the people. So, if you're old enough to remember the Selma March, right? So all the people down in Georgia were marching with Martin Luther King, but it was funny because there was white people there with him. Why
Right.
was that? Why was that? And I can remember that time, and I can remember the comments that were being made. And let me be clear, I wasn't alive when that happened, but I can remember when they would show it on TV after the fact, and people would
Yes.
say things. And I've never understood that. So this is one of those weird things where this is what's happened.
Hmm.
I've always been this outsider person. Like I'll hear stuff, I'll look at stuff, I'll do stuff. No, don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
Again, I was in the military. You know, uh, height of the Cold War, Russia was our enemy. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So they're like, that's what you're doing. That's where you're at, right? But I had the most bizarre chance meeting with a Russian couple in Italy
Oh,
while I was in the Navy. And I was sitting there at this little cafe thing, drinking my little cafe Americano thing. And this lady walks up to me and she asked me why I wanted to kill her. And I'm going, are you what? And it happened so fast, I didn't pick up that she was Russian until she started talking a little bit more and I could pick up the Russian dial, the accent, right? And I said, well, I don't want to kill you. Why do you want to kill me? And she stopped and her and I both stood there. I want to say it was like 5 minutes, but it was probably 5 seconds, right?
yeah.
And you could see the light going off in both of our head. Why do I believe what I believe and who told me that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Ever since then, so I've always been this outsider. Like, I don't buy into pretty much anything. This was my big problem when I was in the church. And you go through the list of enemies in the Bible and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that just can't be. If this God created,
Mm-hmm.
it just can't be, right? Because that means God hates himself.
Mm-hmm.
But I had no resolution. I had no, and in that, my framework had been so refined down to the biblical narrative, I couldn't see past it, right? Now, when I look at it, oh, who told me that? Well, who wrote the Bible, right? And I don't want to go down that road. That's a whole different podcast, right? But um, it's been edited, altered, redacted, retracted, added to, like, so somebody's building that narrative in there. However, there is another narrative in there that, again, it's that beat frequency, right? It's that source frequency that's going right here. Don't read the story as literal. Read it as the allegory, and then what's the
Yes.
principle in the allegory that you're
Yes.
looking for, right? And as I started to do that, right, but then the reality starts to come. Okay, again, this is one of those really hot button topics. How do you know about Jesus? Who told you to believe in Jesus?
Uh-huh.
And then if I was to ask you now, which I totally understand, who's the Antichrist? The Jesus you projected. Doesn't even matter if he was real or not. You've been given a projection, or you've been given a thought to project into the field, and we've done it.
And then people have taken that to the extreme of that.
Yep.
Oh, no, they know. They definitely
Yeah.
know.
Yep. Absolutely. So I'm sitting here, and all of this is happening, and then literally this energy, it's the only way I know how to say it now, my whole body just lights up with this energy. But now I'm prepared for it. Like I've had some other times where like it literally dropped me down to my knees. I didn't know what was
Yeah.
going on. Now I'm prepared for it, and I just kind of relax into it, and I'm just sitting there.
Well, and you've shifted to be able to accommodate it too.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, there's so
it's
much. No,
changed.
I'm not trying
Yes.
to oversimplify it, but I'm just sitting there, and then there is no more team. There is no more oversoul. There is no more source. I am. This is the coherence of that. And I'm going to say something here, and I don't want it to be perceived as like this is the goal or this is the end game or whatever. It's not even what I'm saying. My oversoul and my biological signal unit have harmonized into one. There is no more team. It's
Yep.
all here. It's all here,
Yeah.
right? However, I am that individuation of source incarnate. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, this is the most crazy thing in the world. That means that I have all the power.
Right.
And I don't mean to say power first. I'm just putting it out there.
No, I get
But I
it.
have all the energy. I have all the ideas. I have all the creative ability. Yet I chose to come into this very limited biological signal unit, which is married to emotions. Why? Why would I do that? Why would I do that, right? This is where it's kind of really, really bizarre. Like, this is where, okay, Ron, if you're not batshit crazy, this is going to prove it right here. There's a war in the heavenlies between the powers and the principalities. You know, this is what the Bible says, right? Along with every other ancient writing to some degree or another. There's that weird point in time where God quits talking to the people of the Jewish people, right? There's like 750 years, I can't remember what it is right now, but there's this point, I think it's after the prophet Joel. He just stops, he just stops talking. And then there's Jesus. And this is one of those things, when I've talked to scholars and all kinds of people I've talked to, right? And there's all kinds of different theories about this. What I understand now is the deception was complete. You, I'm sorry, not you. We as a people had totally, completely forgotten who we were.
Good point.
And then comes this Jesus. What did Jesus do? Here's where this gets really bizarre, right? All he did was come and tell you who you were.
I was just gonna say it came what I was gonna say was came to remind us.
Yeah, that's all he did. He just comes to tell you the kingdom of God is near you, the kingdom of God is in you, right? On and on and on and on and on. He can't come out and tell you you are source, the individuation of source incarnate in your body. Your brain would explode.
Right.
Your little brain would explode, right?
Right.
So he drops this little thing, whoever this Jesus was, and I'm putting it like that,
Yeah.
because there had to be somebody here, or the deceptive part of the matrix screwed up and gave you something to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
You started creating. This is where you got the little passage in the Bible where it says, now we look into a mirror that's foggy and we can't see clearly, but the day will come when we can see, talking about Jesus, right? But in reality, it's talking about you. When you can see yourself clearly as source in this body, right? And the war in the heavenlies continues.
Let me add this,
Um,
and you know me, I can always
yep.
bring things down to like the human level. So here's what I was getting. I want you to see how you feel about this. So if we think of dominant frequency, so and what I'm going to say, I think you'll see this. The dominant frequency, we actually allow it to be created as humans.
Yep.
And when you think of the collective, we allow that dominant frequency. Somebody gives it power, right? So they
You
said, so
consent.
think about that. Then I got those that evoke fear in a collective level know how to use frequency to control.
Yep.
We then, it's like cyclical. We then give power to that dominant frequency until we don't and we spit out, if that makes sense. And then there's no more, we've not allowed that to
Yep.
be created any longer it can't sustain itself as a
Let me
dominant
let me
frequency.
let me just add this one thing, and I didn't even go down this road. Think of the Ouroboros, the snake eating itself,
Okay. Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
cycle.
Okay.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Oh, God,
That's
it is.
exactly what you're talking about. That's
Yes.
the Ouroboros.
Yeah. And so what they're
I didn't
showing,
even go into any of that because we don't have time.
oh,
But
we
yes,
don't. But yes,
that
that's
is
it.
what that is telling. It's not an evil symbol. It's not like
No.
everything that painted it. It's a recursive, and I have so much more, but it's a recursive, right? So if you exit here, you die.
Hmm.
Beliefs, right? Those beliefs take you back around the recursion
Yes.
or set you free, one of the
That's the
other.
spitting out that I was.
Yes, and it's the beliefs are actually no beliefs, but yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Wait. I meant to tell you this too, because the other part I wanted to add to this was, as you were talking, what I was getting connected with was this is all about why being and being the observer, learning to be the observer, is so important and staying in stasis and not allowing
yes,
those things to do what we're talking about.
yes,
That's
yes,
why this
yes,
whole
yes,
observer thing becomes such a big deal, and we don't even understand it, right? And being becomes such a big deal because we're not giving energy to that thing that wants to be the dominant frequency.
yes. We literally become the destructive frequency to that false dominant frequency.
Yes.
That's what we're doing here.
Yes.
That's why you don't have to do anything except live your life and know
Yes.
you are the individuation of source. You're going to go through normal stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. It's going to happen because it's what you agreed to come into. Jesus showed you that.
Yes.
That's what he agreed to come into. So, yeah. Anyway,
Being, observing, and non-attachment.
yes.
That whole,
Well, it's non-attachment in the sense of it doesn't define you.
that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
You'll have the
Yes.
experience, but that
Yes.
experience does not define
Exactly.
you.
All right, everybody. I hope you took something away from that and enjoyed the conversation. Again, thank you so much for joining me and for always being here. I do appreciate you. Feel free to leave any commentary. We learn from each other. That's what I love. We learn from each other. No one has all the answers, right? No one has all the answers. That's why we're here to help each other through this journey. You can reach me at purplerainhealing.com, checking out all of my services. And if you'd like, we can also schedule a 15-minute complimentary consultation to see what service might be right for you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.